Okay.
The date is 26th of February 2026. I would like to welcome, so I'm Christian Kwame Agbotsa. I would like to welcome everyone. I for IKD, Pigeon, Sister Portia, Sister Amma, Brother Welcome, Brother Philip, and myself. Today's meeting will be chaired by Brother Philip, and I'm now going to hand over to him so that he can steer us successfully to the end of the meeting. Brother Philip, over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Before being welcomed, can someone read the passage for us, please? Any volunteers?
I can volunteer to read it if nobody else is stepping up.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much.
So just the part that's highlighted?
Yes.
Okay. I also explained there how materialism, on the other hand, was connected with a humanist organization. How through its being monistic.
Philip,
Yeah.
to comment, iPhone is reading too fast. He needs to slow down because we need to take it in.
It's my fault. I have a habit of.
I know. Basically,
I have a habit of listening to YouTube videos at double speed.
Yeah,
so basically,
basically, as you read, we take it in and follow your
thought. I will slow down.
Thank you.
I will let it breathe.
Thank you. Back to you, Philip. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that.
All right. Thanks for that intervention.
Yeah.
So, I also explained there how materialism, on the other hand, was connected with a humanist organization. How through its being monistic and its referring all natural processes to matter and its laws, it inspired an egalitarian organization of society, the unity and fundamental identity of nature suggests the unity and fundamental identity of man in society. Idealism favors an oligarchy. Materialism favors an egalitarianism. Individuals, am I still too fast?
No, that's fine.
Okay, someone posted in the chat, slow down, please. Individuals have both idealist and materialist tendencies in them. So have societies both idealist and materialist streaks. But these streaks do not exist in equipoise. They are connected by conflict in which now one streak, I think that should have been which no one streak predominates nor the other. And I think that's it for what's highlighted.
Thank you so much. I have a confession to make. I haven't fully grasped this passage, though I tried to. And so if there's anyone who can really explain it a bit clearly for us, that would be appreciated. Unless everyone else understands it perfectly, then we just go on. But for me personally, I have a hazy idea.
So just so you know, Philip, we all don't grasp it. That's why we are here to share.
Okay.
So you are not unique. So basically, usually we let the reader, we give the reader time to pause over what they have read.
Right.
And then we ask others to share.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can choose whoever you like, because we all have to share our thinking anyway. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, is there anyone who wants to share some ideas on this on this passage, or even explain it for some of us?
Brother Kwame, Brother Philip.
Yes.
As for me, I'm traveling. I could not read it with my eyes,
Uh-huh.
nor could I hear it with my ears, because my brother
Mm.
was 1 minute faster
Oh,
than the rate to which my ears would consume the passage.
oh, oh.
So the challenge of driving and the challenge of not grasping will make me just
Yeah.
faster. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what I gathered. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, what I gathered from the passage was a tension between egalitarianism or equalitarianism, or a sort of equal, I suppose, the equal ruling or sort of democracy, egalitarianism and oligarchy. So oli means a few. Oligarchy, I mean a few people ruling. So that's one of the tensions that I seem to gather. Was it by Brother Pigeon who was driving? So yeah, so that was one of the tensions that I tended to gather from the passage. As to how the various philosophies fuel these uh, uh, types of governance. I wasn't so clear on that, but I think that was the main thrust that I found from the passage. Are there any comments? Any comments on this from anyone?
Hi, this is Portia. I'll try.
Hi,
This is
hi,
Portia. May I
Portia.
go ahead, Chair?
Yes, please. Yes, please do.
Okay, thank you. As usual, I'll go sentence by sentence and then I'll share my thinking. All right.
Okay.
Sentence one basically is saying that in terms of matter, that we can feel, people, there's a
Uh-huh.
oneness that guides us and makes us equal. So
Okay.
equality is driving that materialism and oneness. And then the second sentence is basically saying survival of the fittest. So in the people reflecting nature, there's the idea of survival of the fittest there. The third sentence is saying that idealism, which is to your point, Chair, about the two different isms here being referenced, that idealism is favoring this few people ruling many people. And then it goes on to say again that materialism is favoring the equality through that oneness. So then the next paragraph is saying, that's now the first sentence of the second paragraph, is saying that individuals have both of them in them. So these kind of tendencies or behaviors. And the easiest way I can liken that to is if you think of, for example, they used to say there's an angel on one side of you and then the devil on the other side, telling you each time, do this. Then the other one saying, no, don't do that. So then the second sentence says that again, societies, that's going back to the reflection of people with nature, also has those in them. And then the third sentence of the second paragraph is saying that they don't exist equal. So they don't exist equally. And then the last one is saying that both of them are connected in conflict, where one is going to predominate the other. So my thinking in this is the current situation that the world is in. I was reading a local newspaper here, and it was saying that billionaires and how much wealth. Now, I put earlier that there's a indicator that there's less than 1% of people who control the economic wealth throughout the world, and that they are, I dare say, mostly of European heritage. I went to double check that fact, and I saw one Asian. All of them are biologically male at birth. So that just gives me room for pause. So in this current situation where you have at least 1% of people of billionaires controlling all of this economic wealth, and it's down to 12, and I'll double check after this, after I give this point. And most of them are of European heritage, white people, and one of them is of Asian descent, and they control most of the wealth. That could be, in a sense, this idealism that favors an oligarchy, that last sentence of the first paragraph. Now to my point of my thinking. My other thinking on this, is what is happening in the alliance of the Sahel states. I said it last week. Don't trust politics. What we see, they telling us, they who control most of the mainstream media, is happening in politics, be that locally, regionally, nationally, or globally. We have to look beyond that. And so when I hear the alliance of the Sahel states, and that a former CIA employee who is now the special envoy to the Bureau of African Affairs out of the United States of America Department of State, going to one of those countries in February 2026 to try to talk with one of the leaders of the Alliance of the Sahel states. I am pondering, is that materialism happening? Is that idealism happening? Or, as I say, there could be room for other isms happening. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, before.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, hold on, please, Pigeon. I would like to comment on Sister Portia's presentation. Now, you notice that for a while, or actually, I desist from being the first to comment on read passages, and my reasoning is because as a resource person, I am reluctant to if you like, shepherd people's thinking. So I pause normally for people to share their thinking, and then sometimes I come in, sometimes I don't. But when I don't, Brother Pigeon reminds me, so we haven't heard your thinking. So what I want to say is that what Sister Portia has done is excellent. But what I want Sister Portia to understand, I've been meaning to say this, but I've kept quiet for a while. But what I want Sister Portia to understand is that what she has done is to actually share her thinking on how she understands every sentence. And then when she says she's sharing her thinking, what she's actually done is to apply her thinking to current geopolitical affairs. So she's sharing her thinking, which we're all required to do, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. So that's why we are here, to share our thinking. So what I'm saying is that Portia needs to understand that when she's interpreting the sentences, she is sharing her thinking on what she thinks they mean. So if I give an example, she used the word survival of the fittest. Now, that is not in this text. That is an interpretation of the text. And someone may read the same text and not get that understanding. So I think I need to alert us all that when you are sharing, when you are saying this is what you think the sentence means, you are sharing your thinking as well. We don't tell people what thinking to share. It's a free world. Share whatever thinking you like. And even free to challenge the thinking. But when you challenge the thinking, or you challenge the text, others may also challenge your challenge. But what we ask, Philip, is that it's done in a respectful way. Very respectful way. Yeah. Okay, so that is my quick interjection. I will now be quiet. Thank you. For you to then carry on, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you for the intervention. And I think that our resource person was trying to put things in perspective. Thank you, Sister Portia. You threw some light, at least certainly for me, you did on the text. Are there any other viewpoints on?
Chair?
Sir.
Chair, can I go ahead?
Yes, please. Is this Brother Pigeon?
Yes.
Okay. Please.
Thank you for accepting to be our chair today. It's very grateful to see you chairing. Now, Nkrumah started by saying that I have explained there how materialism. Where did he explain this? How materialism, on the other hand, was connected with the humanist organization. Because we need to put that text into context. And I wanted to go back a bit to check whether he said that in the previous paragraph. Sorry. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to check whether he said that in the previous paragraph, because it's very important for us to check. In the previous paragraph, Nkrumah was trying to bring us the two main real philosophical alternatives. Now, in chapter 2, was it chapter 1, philosophy in retrospect, we actually landed on key philosophical questions that then leads us to these two main, whether you call them idealism or materialism. So we came across the question, what is the universe made up of? That was the key question.
Sorry, Brother Pin. I think someone's microphone needs to be muted. Or I don't know if it's been muted.
Okay, can you hear me, Chair?
Yes.
Philip's mic is unmuted.
Philip, the chair.
Yes. But I could hear children.
Okay, let me proceed. Audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So Nkrumah come with key real questions, and Brother Kwame will remind us of this. It is what therefore and how what there. So the key issue is, what is the universe made up of? And this is where the conversation starts in chapter 1, philosophy in retrospect. Is the universe made up of ideas, spirits, or matter? And this is where we come across people who believe that the universe is made up of matter, taking the position of being materialist. So it's called materialism. Those who believe that the universe is made up of ideas and spirits then are called idealists. Then we end up with what you are calling idealism. Now, these two are very fundamental, because you see then, if you believe that the universe is made up of matter, I don't know why the charts are affecting my screen, because now my screen is moving because of the chat. Maybe somebody can share the screen. But let me explain here. If you believe, based on what I know or what I think, if you believe that the universe is made up of ideas and spirit, you are an idealist.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that the universe is made up of matter, you are a materialist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then, the key question, I think, at the end of chapter 1, Nkrumah ends by saying that our universe is a natural universe,
Mm-hmm.
with its basic law being matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then, the question came in on the contestation between idealism and materialism.
Mm-hmm.
For example, people believe and is a thinking that materialism is talking about physicalness, the abstract and the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
But then the question is, how do you say that then ideas and spirits are not part of matter? Through what then we learned previously called the categorical conversion.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two main contesting points here. There are people who believe that the universe is purely idealism, and there are people who believe that the universe purely are matter or materialism.
Mm-hmm.
But Nkrumah says, Nkrumah, I think, based on what I've learned through, Nkrumah is trying to show the people that what you call ideas exists in matter. So ideas are matter in another form. For example, if you take, for example, the solid, liquid, and gaseous form, the product that moved from being a solid to being liquid to being gaseous is the same product, but in a different state. Which means whether it is ideas cannot exist without the brain. You cannot have ideas without the physical body. You cannot do the element of the mind without minding, that aspect of where the mind is situated, as much as is in another form that's not physical, but exists somewhere physical. So then is that what we call physical can change form. But it doesn't mean that there's a difference between what you call spirits, ideas, from what is material. But this is what Nkrumah is trying to contest, at least to bring through these two opposing forces that are trying to conflict here. Those who don't believe there's existence of ideas and spirits, and those who purely believe it's purely materialism. Now, in the previous chapter, Nkrumah is saying how actually there's alternative coincidence with idealism and materialism. Now, here he's telling us that if you view that the universe is made up of matter, which means everything in the universe comes from the same thing. And then we had our friend who was a physicist here who was telling us the content of matter. I'm not a physicist, but there was element of protons and neutrons and the rest. And there's always conflict in between, either the neutrons and the protons, the positive and negative charges, or that element. But if you believe that the universe is made of matter, which means we come from the same thing, everybody else originates from the same matter, then you will take everybody as equal. You'll take everybody as equal. You'll embrace what you call now egalitarianism. But if you believe that the universe is more of idealism and ideas, then there's more of hierarchies. And this is what majorly is being exploited by either the religion, the churches that bring some people are above others. For example, in some of the chapter 3, then when we went to the philosophy and society, chapter 2, when you talk about the Athens, the Anaximander, and those other philosophers, and the contestation between Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates, because Socrates then is trying to prove to us, I think in chapter 2, with the story of the Meno. In the Meno, as the book, Socrates is trying to prove that the slave boy who was a slave boy in this society could be able to actually solve complex mathematical questions when he was given opportunity to do so. Which means then, the chapter 2 ends that despite of your physical differences, the fundamental worthiness and the fundamental equalness of people is the same. So whether you are a woman, you are a child, whether you are a gardener, you are a teacher, irrespective of our physical differences, we are equal fundamentally. Now that means that we are all equal in the same society. Whether you are a president or you are a citizen, whether you are a member of parliament or you are a farmer, we all deserve equal life and we all deserve equal service because we are equal and we are coming from the same matter. Now that then goes away from these differences of when you go to hierarchies, because hierarchies then is being embraced in idealism, whereby now there are people, even in spiritual realm, there are people who are above the other people. So either they are the preachers and the whatever, who are then either God sent to intervene on behalf of the people, and the people as ordinary people were below them as the servants to them. Now that is hierarchies that then create classism, that sometimes even create racism, that even end up now creating individualism. So you only think about yourself and not others. And that is what probably can lead to this, what I'm seeing here as oligarchy. I don't want to go further, but I'm trying to connect my previous learnings and lessons to this one. And my teacher is here, Professor Kwame, who will be able to tell whether I'm trying to do something better on this. But basically, then what is very important in this chapter 2 is that in society, both elements exist. There are idealists and the materialist. And sometimes it's based on how maybe they govern or how they rule the society. If they are idealists, you see how they embrace more classism, class structures, individualism, and some hierarchies and bureaucracy. If they're materialists, you'll see how they view what others, some of us call Ubuntu, how they consider all of us as to be equal and same. You see? So that is very important. And you must know that the society might not exist uniformly as materialists or uniformly as idealists. I think the key thing I'll be interested is how do we bridge this contestation? That will be my interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Pigeon. Again, you have also thrown further light on the passage, certainly for me. Any more contributions, please? Responses to the speakers?
Yeah, can I remind you, Philip? Everybody is required to contribute.
Okay.
So, as chair, you call us one at a time.
Okay.
But you don't just throw it out there. Although there are two hands up, but it's for you as chair to call us to share our thinking. Now, someone might decide that they are not ready yet. In that case, you move on to someone else. But remember to come back to the person who you have asked to. Yeah. So, chair, back to you. Over to you again.
I see Ama's hand. So Ama, can you share your thinking, your thoughts, please?
Hello, good evening to everyone. I've got a window of opportunity to speak, then I'm going to be moving again, so I'll try and speak now. I have to say, I have read, reread, and reread this particular part, and the more I read, the more I confuse. And this is based on having read Consciencism before, years ago. I studied it with a group of people, and even then I was confused. So I'll try to speak as clearly as I can. I'm going to maybe ask questions. I am still struggling with how the description of how idealism leads to, actually, I just have to find the text. I can't read it on that screen, so I have to find the text in the, so just excuse me one minute. By the way, Philip, thank you very much for stepping in and being chair. So I'm still struggling with how materialism or the belief in matter or matter is primary, automatically leading to what we would call egalitarianism, and idealism not, because
would you like me to answer that before you continue to share?
I would like you to allow me to continue.
Okay, carry on,
please.
Thank you.
So, because even if you answer it, I may not necessarily agree, but this is because it's constantly a struggle that's going on in my mind, because I suppose from my perspective, the way I see it is that the tendency I see in all of us, and I do think there is this tendency in all of us, is we all have a tendency for what I think somebody's already mentioned it, for individualism, putting the self above everything else. But we all also have the tendency for collectivism, the ability to share and consider the needs and wants of others. whether that relates to matter or the thoughts and the mind, I'm not too clear about. I see there's an interaction between the two. So, yes, come in now, Brother Kwame, and maybe if you feed back to me,
Yeah. So
hopefully I'll
that's
still be
okay.
able to,
Yeah.
contribute a
So
bit later.
that's fine. So Brother Pigeon has explained at length that materialism is the belief that we all come from the same matter. Yeah. We are all carbon based. Humanity is carbon based. All of us come from the same matter. Philosophically. Therefore, when it comes to the implication of that philosophy for society, in terms of human organization, then we say that since we are equal from a materialist perspective, then when it comes to organized society, we must ensure that that principle of equality is sustained. So that is the link between materialism and human organization.
But
Now,
okay, you continue,
now,
because even for me
idealists,
there's a no,
yeah,
but
it's fine.
because
Yeah,
even for
it's
me
fine. It's fine.
there is a distinction, because we are all, I would say we are all made of matter, so we are all matter, but there are differences in our matter, differences of how we are made and made up, and that we as human beings, and this is maybe where the idealism comes in, we as human beings attach different values to different types of matter in terms of how we're made up. So for instance,
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, but it doesn't. Yes, we do. If I may continue, if it's okay. So yes, we do, Amma. But the fact that we are all born with different shoe sizes, so I may wear a 10, someone will wear a 9, someone will wear a size 2 because they are children, does not mean that when it comes to providing shoes for everyone, we should only provide shoes for those with size 10. You see.
I agree. Yes, that I agree with. Anyway, this, I don't want it just to be a dialogue between yourself and myself, because I listened very carefully to Pigeon, but I didn't necessarily, and that's the point I'm saying. I heard what he said. Whether I understood it fully or agreed with it is a different thing. So, but let me finish it there, because I'm still not, I have a different perspective on it. So let me just say
Yes.
that.
Yeah. So share your perspective. That's why we are here. Now, I was going to say that idealism, Sister Amma, your perspective is part of any dialogue that you have with anyone, including myself, is part of our learning. So don't feel that you should not engage in dialogue. It can be with Philip himself, it can be with Brother Ifo, it can be with Brother Pigeon. It doesn't matter. So what I was going to say is that idealism believes that we humans, even though we come from the same matter, are not equal with respect to the fact that we come from the same matter. And therefore, idealism believes that there has to be hierarchy. So that is the difference. Idealism does not accept that we come from the same matter. And we've seen that in practice, where idealists have even suggested that some human beings are not even human. They claimed that some men and women are animals and that they don't belong to the human race. And apart from the fact that they have suggested that there has to be hierarchy, even amongst those they claim to be human beings, they went further and claimed that some of us don't even belong to the human race. In fact, they went further and said some of us are white and some of us are black, even though there is no biological basis, even in science, for differences, for such differences. These idealists claimed, and this is where idealist science comes in, and the Nazi ideology, etc., etc. So what we are discussing, if you like, goes to the heart of belief and of how we therefore organize society. Certainly, just for me not to go too much into the application to human organization. If I just say on the science, the science itself. What science has said is that biologically, all humans, that is scientific, this is science, now are the same in terms of who they are as human beings, that we all come from the same matter. We are all so much percentage water, so much percentage calcium, hydrogen. If you do a scientific analysis of human beings, whatever their skin color, you find that they all have almost the same structure in terms of matter, scientific science. And that is what, if you like, that is what materialism says, because materialism, as you know, science as is practiced mostly today takes the position of materialism. Most sciences are materialists, but even the scientists who practice that, when it comes to human organization, may not be faithful to their own science. And we know, for example, the scientists who work with the Nazis, even though they were scientists, they were busy claiming that people with blue eyes, whatever. So. Now, the final thing is that biologically, there is no such thing as a white person. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
I agree with that.
And then, however, idealists have claimed that the human race, if you like, can be described broadly into two groups: the white race and the non-white race. And they claimed that this was based on science. So just saying on the science without getting involved in the ideological implications of that philosophy, we can confidently say that the idea that society must be hierarchical because of differences in what human beings are has no basis in science. So this is even without going to the ideological implications. If you just stay on the science, I think now we will all agree, and if you don't, you can research it further for yourself. We will all agree that no one today, even amongst idealists, is arguing that there are biological differences, essential differences in humans. We are not saying that we can all be teachers, or that we can all be mathematicians, or we can all be sociologists, or we can all be presidents, or we can all be women. Yeah, we're not saying that a man can be pregnant and carry babies for 9 months, which no man can do, as far as I know. We're not saying that that these differences don't exist within the human family, but we are saying that despite these differences in your function society, in your gender, in your height, in your width, whatever those differences, fundamentally, as human beings, that is, we all come from the same matter, and therefore we all need water to drink, we all need to live in a house, we all need to eat food, we all need, when it is raining, not to be in the rain, and so on. Therefore, there are certain basic needs that all human beings have, whether you are the president, whether you are the queen, whatever. Therefore, when we organize human society, why don't we make sure that everyone's needs is catered for, at least at a minimum level? So, but as I'm saying, these are then ideological questions. Let me pause because Philip, I think, wants to come in. Yes, Chair.
Thank you very much. I am being enlightened all the time. Sister Amma, are you happy?
Well, yes and no, but I don't want to dominate. So, because there are 16 of us in this, so let others speak. But all I'll say is yes and no. I'm not going to say I'm happy, but I'm also not going to say that I will just say this one thing. So I believe in the primacy of matter. I believe that every human being is made up of the same matter. But I'll go back to what I say, and it's maybe the way the word idealism is being used, and I use it slightly differently, is I prefer using the term that we as human beings have thoughts which can be individual, based on us as individuals, and coming out of that individualism, I've got a cake here. There are 4 of us in the room. I can divide the cake into 4 equal pieces, recognizing that each of us is hungry and has a need. Or I can divide the cake into uneven pieces and say that because I am the tallest, I should have a bigger piece of the cake, as an example. Do you see what I'm saying? So whether that's idealism or not, I don't know quite. But I mean, fundamentally, I believe everybody should receive based on their needs. Yeah, so I don't disagree with what Kwame has said. I've always struggled with this conscientism, and I think one of the things which, for myself and for everyone else, we need to do is just to break it down into simple, understandable thing. Because at the end of the day, Cabral said, go out into the streets or into the villages or into the fields with people. They're not actually too bothered about what's going around in my head or your head. What they want is to be able to live and eat and drink clean water and whatever. But I'll leave it there. Older brother Kwame, thank you very much for your explanation. Brother Pigeon, thank you very much for your explanation. And Philip, I have to hold my hands up to you for stepping in and chairing at the last minute. I'm going to have to go on silent again because I've got to step out. I'm moving between, but I am listening, guys. So thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So what Sister Amma has said towards the end about the tendency in everyone, as she has eloquently explained, is what the second paragraph is about. But I accept that it may not be put in very simpler language, as Sister Amma has said. But what she has said in terms of the cake is exactly what the second paragraph is saying. The second paragraph is saying that individuals who need to share a cake, if I may break it down that way, have both idealist and materialist tendencies in them, meaning that they can share the cake based on some kind of hierarchy, or they can, which is idealism. Remember, this is philosophical idealism, not our use of language like, oh, you are being an idealist. That's not how this is. This is philosophy. So then you can say, well, I'll share the cake according to some hierarchy, which is what idealism is. Or I'll share the cake equally, which is equally because we all are hungry, we all have the same needs. Therefore, even though I'm the tallest and you are the shortest, I'll give you, even though my stomach is bigger than yours, we all have the same needs to eat. Therefore, I'll share it equally. And that's a materialist tendency there. And what Nkrumah then says is that same sharing of cake that Sister Amma has used as a for me an splendid example. Nkrumah is saying that when you look at society as a whole, and you think about a cake being shared in society, the same things happen. You can have one person, maybe the president or the capitalists or wherever you want to call them, who decide that, well, actually, we're going to share the cake unequally because we are the president and we're president's family. Therefore, we will have the biggest share. And then the majority of the people will have what is left over. So that is the next line. That says, so have societies both idealists and materialist streaks. And Nkrumah then goes further and says about these streaks do not exist in equipoise, meaning that they are not equal. They swing. They're like seesaw. You know, you can have somebody who wants to cheat everyone, who then changes and says, oh, actually, now I believe that. I used to believe that, one person should have it all. Now I believe that because of what I've experienced, now I believe that we must all share equally, or vice versa. Yeah, and that is what the equi means equal. Poise is the stand. So it's like a seesaw. It can go. So even the same person can be wicked in one sense. The same person, a few years later, a few minutes later, a few months later, however you want to put it, suddenly has changed. and they may say they have seen the like Paul on the way to Damascus or whatever. And Nkrumah is saying that these things, they are connected by a conflict in a conflict in which now one streak predominates and now the other, meaning that in all of us in society, these tendencies are fighting. And that's what dialectics is about. Dialectics is a science of conflict. It's a science of struggle. Even we ourselves as individuals, we struggle. We have children. But how often, even as parents, do we favor one child over the other? How often as children do we look at our children and say, I like this child because either he's cleverer or he's taller or she's cleverer? Even as parents, sometimes we discriminate amongst our own children. And the children get upset and then they fight among themselves because the parents do not love them all equally. So they claim, by the way, but it may not be the aim of the parents. So to summarize, I'm saying that what Sister Amma has explained with the cake is exactly what the second paragraph is saying, but in philosophical language. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sharing by class, some sort of artificial class system, sharing by need on the assumption that every human is equal and therefore must be shared equally. And then also, I think the question of equity has come into the discussion somewhere. When we talk about sharing by need, maybe someone needs something more than others. But let's go to the other raised hand. Is it Ifo Ikede?
Yes,
is it Ifo
this
Ikede?
is me, Ifo, yes.
Yes, yes. You've been very patient. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the unnecessarily cryptic way that this is written, but that's a different take for a different day. And also when we talk about the idealist, it feels as if a lot of this is written, strangely enough, from a Eurocentric lens. Because my ideal as an Isoko is about the interconnectedness of our communities and our people, and the fact that we are brought up to understand that it takes a village to raise a child. So those are our ideals. And then within those ideals, we understand that as we're raising our children, we need to provide for them the material things that they need. And for our neighbors, whether it is the shelter that they need or help them in the farm or whatever it is. So this reads very alien to me because I understand the words, because I've had the displeasure of going to colonial school, but it makes no sense to me on a fundamental level. Because it's speaking as if there are only two ways, which is the colonial either or. But I see a third or fourth or even a fifth way of integrating these things that doesn't quite fit into what is being shared in that paragraph, because it's talking about idealism favoring an oligarchy, materialism favoring an egalitarianism, and I have to ask, in what cultural context is that true? Because that is not true in the cultural context that I was raised in. And it's not true in the cultural context of a majority of the people on this planet before they were invaded by either the people from Europe or the people from the Arab world. So I'm always leery of stuff that seems to not mention its cultural bias as it proclaims something that's universal. So that's my not so hot take on that.
yeah, this was a sense that I also I also got that he started from a Eurocentric perspective and then somehow was trying to argue a more African perspective. But let's see what
Yeah, Chair.
others.
Chair.
Yeah, yes,
We
yes,
thank Ifo for sharing his thinking. This is what this class is about. It's about sharing thinking.
yes.
Let's say that what
Mm,
we are looking at
mhm.
is philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah, philosophy.
Mm,
The word ideal, like Brother Ifo has mentioned, that is not a
mm,
sense in which philosophy, yeah, talks about an ideal. I hear
mm,
what he's saying. He's correct. He's
yeah,
right. Yeah, and he's right to say that. Well, when I'm reading this, it feels alien to me. That is
right.
because that is the same as me,
Mm,
a mathematics teacher, going into
uh-huh.
a biomedical class, and I'm
Mm,
thinking, what are these people talking about? You know,
right.
biomedicine. What are they talking about? This is all alien to me.
Mm,
So there's a sense in which
mm,
what this is describing may be alien to some,
mm,
and in the sense that we are now talking about philosophy,
mm,
and there are only two philosophies in the world, and they come from Africans. So I
mhm,
hear brother saying he feels some kind of cultural alienation, but I want to
mm,
assure brother Ifo that in his own country, in the
mm,
University of Nigeria, yeah,
mm,
a symposium was held some years ago. I can share the book with him when he's should he want, and
mm,
it was in the what was then called the William Amu Center for African Philosophy, University of Nigeria in Nsukka. There was a
I
great
see.
debate on African philosophy, 1970 to 1990. It was edited by
Wow.
Dr. T.U. Nwala, but therefore might know him. And what he is describing to us is exactly some of the issues that came up in that great debate.
I see.
And in that debate, it came to conclusions, and the conclusions was published, and they were edited by the coordinator of the center, T.U. Nwala. I'm happy to share the title with Brother Ifo so he can read, to assure him that the things he's raised now were mentioned there. In fact, precisely what he's saying, that this is alien, this is not for us, this is not us. It turned out that when the philosophers gathered and looked at it, it turned out that it's actually ours. That was repackaged in a different way and presented to us as if it wasn't ours. There is no philosophy on this planet, I want to assure us all here, that did not come from Africa. It's like Christianity being repackaged and brought to us, and we're being told that Jesus is a white man, and that unless you bow to this white image, you will not be saved, which we all know is first of all historically fraudulent, ideologically illegitimate, philosophically unacceptable, and has a lot of and had a lot of negative consequences for us, including me myself, because I went to a Catholic church, a Catholic school,
Right.
where we sang in Latin when we went to mass. Yes. So I want to assure the brother that what he's saying, I feel him. Oh yes, I feel what he's saying, brother. But I want to assure that this is all ours. And there's another author called Ben Jokanan. Dr. Ben Jokanan is a brother. He's passed away now, who has written a lot on these issues, and he's published. He used to lead an African study center in the U.S., And a lot of his students have also published, and they've dealt with these issues. So, so these are ours. But what I'm saying is that the words that I understand what he's saying. The way in which it is put here is not how we use the words in everyday life. That's why, for example, I watched a lot of Nigerian films. I love them so much. Genevieve and Naji, all those they are my heroes in Nigerian films. And even when Nigerian films, they use the word materialism a lot in Nigerian films. But what it means is not what it means when we are discussing philosophy. When we say you are a materialist in philosophy, it doesn't mean that you are materialistic. Meaning that you just want to amass material things. You don't care about the spiritual or the spiritual dimension of life, etc. It doesn't mean that when you are talking about philosophical materialism. That is why we say that what we are discussing here is philosophical idealism and philosophical materialism. Now, let me end with this one. Our enemies understand exactly what Nkrumah is saying, because remember, this book is also for them. Yeah, it's not just for us; it's also for them, and they understand exactly what Nkrumah is saying. You see, so I'll just end by saying that when Badafo, for example, says my ideal for an African society is this, if he doesn't use the word ideal, he could have said the materialist objects for my society, the materialist objective, and that will also be okay. You see, but that's not what he's saying. You see, because he's used because of the way in which we have been, if you like, taught, and even the way he uses the English itself is part of how we were taught. That we were taught to, you see, we've been taught to value, that whatever we value most is the ideal. Well, you see, but what they didn't tell us was that when we say that, they are programming us to accept their version of idealism philosophically. In other words, to accept hierarchy, to accept that the white man is superior, to accept that when something is white is better than us. That's how they've programmed us through the words that they taught us when we all studied English. Let me pause there for now. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Technical terminology is different from the layman's terminology. For example, if the lawyer, European lawyer or the colonists talk about land, it has a different meaning for the lawyers than the layman. Brother Windhoek, can you say something?
Chair.
Yes.
There's Dr. Afiri's hand is up, maybe in case you don't see it, but you can go ahead with your list, Chair.
Yes. Okay. All right. So is this Stephen Firi?
Yes, it's Stephen Firi, yes.
Okay. Yes. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, cool. I had the privilege of I'm rereading this book again. It's quite interesting. And also, like for example, when you make interpretations directly from the text, which is okay, but sometimes we need to think about the context. And if you look at this, remember, Kwame Nkrumah was mostly influenced by Karl Marx.
Oh, hey.
It was influenced by Karl Marx. So whenever he talks about material, what Marx was trying to say that people normally used idealism is whereby things are not directly applied to the needs of the people the way they are supposed to. But such a process can only work when it becomes immaterial, because real distribution and fairness comes from how we share our material things that we have. So that's why he talks about egalitarian within that. So if you look at Marx, even the way he writes here, he's trying to Marx is thinking about how we share our goods fairly. But he was not also meaning only physical goods, but also maybe the outputs of what we do to be shared fairly. So if yeah, so when I was reading it, both from its philosophical foundation from chapter 1, chapter 2, I had the privilege of doing some little bit of philosophy, so I was afraid. And also the idea of what Kukuruma is trying to say is trying to show that also how if you read the first chapter of this book, it talks about how an African is being taught a particular thinking of other people, okay, that it got its own history. So in Africa, you cannot understand that because that history that is being taught within that philosophy cannot identify with him, or her within that context. That's what he's trying to say. So he's trying to say how these ideas, even the ideas of equality and all this stuff, what do they mean? Do they mean to equality for everyone, or it's meant equality for a particular group that thought about that? So as he comes to do that, so what he's trying to do is now he's trying to show that actually the philosophies, how these people thought, it's exactly also how they act out. And you cannot say philosophy within the Western paradigm is not based on only ideas or the way people think. It's also based on how they actually conceptualize their society. So there's this interchange between the society and how they think. So it's not like a philosophy whereby so no, it's attached to the real world. It's more like how they think and how they've colonized us, even how they've thought about us, maybe black people or other people are inferior. It was not based on their own thinking the way they say it. Actually, it was based on how they also saw the society and how it also shaped the society. So if you continue reading the whole book, it tries to show that actually when they were thinking, they were also shaping their own society. Said that us, we were not included in that particular thinking because the history of that thinking does not include us as Black Africans, to be more specific. We are not in their paradigm. So I don't want you to keep on going because I'm still rereading it properly, just yeah. But when it comes to material, it's trying to say that we should now, instead of just focusing on how we think about things, I can say we are equal. But how we live shows that actually others have got more than others. So for me to be say how like people who are privileged, they like to talk about equality when they know very well that they got an advantage. According to Kurume, for equality to be fair, it should not be idealist how we talk about, how we think about it. It should be how we actually do it. So for us to be able to do it, it had to be material now. How do we share even our privileges and our material? You see, that's what he's trying to say in that one. I just want to stop there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So, I mean, the practical expression of the intangible philosophy, or we can say that philosophy is actually not intangible because it actually plays out in tangibility.
Yes. Through the ideological tools or instruments. And Philip, because of your own history, let me give you a good example which you can identify with. In 1979, a young man burst onto the scene in Ghana, Accra in Ghana, and they claimed, went on to 1982 and said that one man, one house, one man, one car. And then they went on and confiscated the cars. Those families that had multiple cars were confiscated. Women were raped. Some people were killed, etc., etc. Fast forward a few years later, and then that same person now owns 10 cars, 5 cars, lives in a mansion, which is what you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yes, yes.
So it's not about us, brother Philly. It's not about you saying the ideal for society is this. But it's actually, it's about lived praxis. It's about lived experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Professor Kwame, may I correct the historical record?
Please, you'll have to speak to the chair. I'm just a resource person. Thank
Yes,
you.
Chair,
please go ahead.
may I add to the historical record?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I think there's a caution throughout academia, particularly in studies when they go into African communities, and there's even now in the Pan-Africanists is saying, well, what are you doing? What are you doing for the people? And if you are economically poor or no income and saying put your life on the line for people, and at the same time, the person who's asking someone to do that has health care. Let me not even talk about income, spare income, but just has health care and food in the refrigerator. I think for historical purposes, we have to be cautious about having a wide lens of, well, what is a person doing? How are you living? With the assumption that that person who is not doing whatever we think as nascent philosophers or doctors or whatever the great fields we're in, that whatever that person is not doing, they're somehow not contributing to this Pan-Africanness. So to say it plain, I think we have to avoid generalizations of who is contributing to this liberation and unification of Akibalon. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Well, that's an interesting point. I'm trying to see the link between the discussion and, I mean, the contribution to Pan-Africanism. I mean, these are critical points, but I'm just trying to make that link.
Chair, what we're reading, former Ghanaian President Nkrumah, this is what he lived. And President Professor Kwame will know this more than anyone on this call, I would dare say. But he was all about Pan-Africanism, all about unification. So these books that he has written, there could be arguably roadmaps to how we get there. I'm just cautioning with my point because I hear it in different forms. Well, what are you doing? You know, judge a person by what they're doing, how they're living. That is a racial capitalistic purview. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. So just because there's a family of 20 in whatever part of this world who is Black, who is a Black person, and they are not contributing or they're not protesting, whatever we think in those roadmaps we should be doing, I just feel we have to be cautious about saying in general, well, the reason why they're not doing it is because they're not conscious, or well, whatever. I'm always cautious because that comes from a racial capitalistic viewpoint. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing for the liberation? That kind of thing. So I'm just saying, let's ease up on the people who may not be on these calls because they're just surviving.
Oh, okay. I think what triggered this is the question of the practicality. When we were talking about practicality of the philosophy, am I correct? I mean, am I correct in thinking that whether you are a materialist or an idealist, that will play out in real life? I mean, is that what is triggering the?
So what Sister Portia is cautioning us is that different people contribute differently,
right,
to the Pan-Africanism or to whatever we decide is a goal.
Right.
So we should be cautious how we, in terms of the examples we gave, so that when others are contributing in a way that we may not be contributing, we don't minimize their contribution. So that's my understanding. I think that is right. Brother Philip, as chair, let me remind you, some people haven't spoken yet. Coco hasn't spoken. Amina hasn't
Coco's hand is up.
Yes, and Amma has spoken, but you know, Amma, sometimes needs to come in because of where she is. She might use the time, and then she needs to come in and say something. But it's up to you, Chair, how you do that. But remember, everybody must speak. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Brother Coco.
Yes, brother. Do you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for sharing tonight. And thank you for everyone who has shared already. Apologies, I started late today. I would like to take us back some few pages to where this word oligarchy was used, and try to read the paragraph where it says, and Socrates, sua distant avenger, Plato, sought in turn to destroy even this limited democracy. In this attempt, he only succeeded in adumbrating a philosophy which could be used in supporting a society in which one class sat on the neck of another. It encouraged a new oligarchy. And this new oligarchy of the Dark and Middle Ages, like the one from which we started, sought its sacerdotal ally. So it is that Plato, in trying to avenge the defender of human equality, the man who always said that men did not differ as men, any more than bees differed as bees, helped ironically in instituting his more complete overthrow. A few centuries later, Platonism, having been seized upon, the priesthood set about acquiring an empire and political power. This world was treated to a rehash of the old familiar arguments and re-encumbered with a theological explanation of the cosmos. Heraclitus' hypothesis that neither God nor man had made the universe was swamped with earnest pietisms. The priests emphasized their role as experts of matters divine, and since this world was held to be but a dividend of divine enterprise, they claimed expertise on mundane matters as well. Deeply in league with the aristocrats, they plunged Europe into the Dark Ages and the most terrible feudalism which history records, as the church exercised her divine right of the grab. So let me stop there, but continue with the analysis of tonight. So what we are reading there is how idealism was used and where it came from. With Plato, who was angry of how his mentor Plato had been treated, and gave the priesthood the material in which to use to establish their order in ancient Greece. Then what we are being told here by Dr. Nkrumah in today's reading is that matter is monistic. Materialism is monistic. That means it believes reality is one unified substance, not two separate ones, like mind and body, for instance. Because everything is made of the same matter, follows the same laws. All humans are fundamentally the same, which is what Kwame and Comrade Pigbin have already said. So if all humans are made of the same matter reality, then no one is superior, and society should be organized on equality on that basis. Therefore, materialism encourages egalitarianism, equality in society. In short, that is what egalitarianism is about. But what about idealism in this case? Idealism is the view that reality is fundamentally spiritual, mental, or based on ideas. It's about ideas. Let's not confuse it with the ideal. Well, ideal we can also argue is ideas. But in this case, we're talking about idealism. There may be a hierarchy of spiritual or intellectual realities as a result of that. So, because idealism often suggests some people are closer to the truth. In this case, remember with the priests, they said they were closer to the divine. Hence, they started creeping into everything else. In that case, those who are closer to the truth or to spirit, then they end up taking the bigger pie under idealism. Some potential or spiritual qualities. Then idealism, in that case, is being used for hierarchy and is being used by elites. It then ends up being ruled or by a few, what oligarchy is. And it's what we are seeing in America today. So this is what we are saying. Idealism
sorry, Chair, I can't hear Brother Coco. I don't know if you can.
No, it seems to.
But you're not saying anything, Chair. You are the chair.
Yeah.
You have to let him know we can't hear him. Yeah, thank you.
Brother Coco.
Where did you lose me?
We've lost you for about 1 minute.
I think Zoom kicked me out.
Oh.
But what I had said was that idealism is used to create hierarchy, elites, and ruled by a few. Thus, idealism favors oligarchy. That is what Dr. Nkuma is saying. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line here is that the reality, as in metaphysics, it influences the theory of society or politics. And in that case, if reality is one and it's material, then it leads to equality. But if reality is spiritual and hierarchical, then it leads to inequality. This is the crux of Dr. Nkuma's argument that for African socialism to be equitable or egalitarian, it must rest on materialism, because only matter guarantees that sort of egalitarianism. So, in short, 2 sentences before I close. Materialism philosophically supports social equality. Idealism philosophically supports social hierarchy. But we have seen that in history there's a struggle between these 2 tendencies. So he talks about the clash between the good and bad, whatever you call it. And the tendencies is both in individuals and in societies. So I hope I have clarified or contributed to the discussion tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Chair, if I may come in there briefly, just to clarify something.
Okay.
Thank you to Brother Coco for his eloquent exposition and for drawing our attention to the paragraph in chapter 1. I think Brother Pigeon also made mention of that when he was saying that we met materialism earlier. Just briefly, we can say that the idea that there's a hierarchy in the spiritual realm is false, as we have been taught or told by imperialism. So according to imperialist interpretation of the Bible, there's a hierarchy with God at the very top, and then there are the archangels or whatever below them, and then below them, and then we here on earth are the footstool. We are like the carpet of God. So on. And the argument that hierarchy, that hierarchy should be reflected in human society. So the king rules by divine right, we were told. Therefore, the king must be above everybody else, and so on. Now, there's an alternative view that says that is exactly what Jesus came to deny. And because Jesus, the argument goes, was actually God in human flesh, you see, who came and lived amongst us and behaved just like us, to show us that this hierarchy thing is false. It is not true. If you feed me, if you feed your sister, you are feeding me. If you give food to your brother, you are giving me. You know, the idea that you are bringing a ram to the priest's house to sacrifice for God, when your brother only came to you some time ago to ask for meat, and you said there was no meat, and you had a ram tied and you took it to the priest, claiming that is for God, that according to Jesus, so that's alternative view, that's not true. So there are these two contending interpretations of the Bible, I'm saying. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, these we're now getting into more interesting areas. Do we have Sister Ama's? Yeah, Sister Ama. Sister Ama. Is she there? Sister Ama, her hand was up.
She's always here, but she can't always talk. Yes, I am here. I'd actually like to first of all thank everybody for their contributions this evening. This has actually been, for me, one of a very good discussion, and my mind is still churning over a lot of things. Sister Portia in particular, I have to hold you up for your continuing wisdom. You bring it every week. So I'm holding you up, Sister Portia. I'm holding you up not just because of your wisdom, but because, and this is going into what's my limited understanding, that, and I think I've said it, I'll repeat it again, is we are conditioned on the one hand to place different values on contributions. And Sister Portia very eloquently described that there are many of our people who make contributions towards the building of a better and alternative Africa, but the type of contributions they make are not as valued. And I will give a very simple example. Years ago, I went to a conference in Peki, in the Volta region, and we had a whole discussion around how we value different contributions. And one of the things that somebody pointed out there is that he's sadly passed away, that there was a guy there who put out all of the chairs for us to sit on it in this conference. But the majority of us didn't even recognize it, let alone see it as a valuable contribution. And I would like to highlight here that one group of people in our community whose contributions are continually to the present undervalued are the contributions of women. And in particular, one of the biggest contributions our women make is raising the next generation. And so for me, the whole discussion about idealism versus egalitarianism, etc., or materialism, is around us recognizing and valuing that, let's say, in order to build a village, you need people doing a whole range of things, and all of those things are of value if that village is to be built. So in order to organize a conference, you need a whole range of people to do a range of things, but the person who's on the platform, who we often see as being of the most value, is not of the most value. because even what they're saying, others would have contributed towards that. So this has been a very worthwhile discussion. And Philip, I also have to hold my hand up to you, coming in at the 11th hour, and you've done a brilliant job in sharing. And Brother Kwame, as always, as a resource person, you help to feed our wisdom. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you very much. Ida,
Thank you,
has Ida
Chair.
spoken? Yes. Yeah.
The Chair, I wanted to remind you that we have 10 people who haven't spoken, and you're having 24 minutes to end our session. So please give them some time.
Thank you very much. Has Ida spoken? Do we have Ida? Ida, am I pronouncing it right? Has Ida spoken? Windhoek, did Windhoek
out of the internet, so I think I'll just listen to it. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Is she saying the internet is interrupting her?
She's having internet issues, Chair. So among the people who haven't spoken, you have Sir Windhoek, you have Sister Amina, you have Brother Benny, you have Sister Grace, you have Brother Anunnaki, Sister Tapo, and also we have Sister Sebasha. Brother Sebasha and Brother Aguilera is on a vacation, so probably won't speak. So those are the people who haven't spoken. Back to you, Chair.
Sir Windhoek. Sir Windhoek. Hello, Sir Windhoek. Sister Amina, have you spoken?
Hello, brother. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
I think I'm going to be very short and brief, considering there are many people that might want to give their contributions as well. To start, I just want to ask a question. The book that we are discussing, is there any possibility for anyone to have the book, or if there is, where can I purchase one? Because I am one person that sometimes find it difficult to join due to my work nature, and I've also got younger kids around. But having the book in hand would help, so that in case I miss a chapter, I will be able to reconnect.
Right.
That's one. That's the first thing I want to ask, if that's possible. But I will try my level best to attend as much as I can. But just in case something happened and I couldn't, and it also helped me to also take my time and read, digest, and have a better understanding.
Right. Yeah, it's very important. There was a facility on Telegram where such books were being shared. Brother Pigeon, is Consciencism on Telegram?
I don't think I'm on your Telegram.
Okay.
Sister
Amina, put
your
link, put your email in the chat. I'll send it to you.
Oh, brilliant. That's very kind of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, yeah, the meetings are apparently you can find it on YouTube. So maybe they can remind us where in writing where we can find it, so that even if we can't attend every session, we can go to YouTube and then find it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the what is it called about today's discussion? From what I understand, is that we as human have the same oneness and ultimate unity. We all have one thing that is fundamental. We all need clean water, shelter, but having that, we still have got a division, if that's the right word, within us, you would find that there are other group of women, human, who believe this one is better than, we are better than the other, and then the others believe that we are better. And that's where you have materialism and idealism. So when you look at materialism, it's kind of a little bit connected to what human organization would advocate. But along the line, there would be difference. If you go along the line, what they advocate would be more would be more to do with what they want for themselves rather than the human in general. And then you would have got what is it called again? Idealism, which will favor the oligarchy. You have a small group of people that think they are better, and then they would want to rule the whole nation. I will use UK as an example, going around the world, colonizing half of the world, and you look at the size of the country. Yeah. So when you you look at both of them, you might think they are both okay. Both of them also have got conflict. They are not in any society you go, you would find one would dominate, and then they take, like, it's like an interchange. Yeah, but if you look at it, like I said, materialism is quite kind of bit close to humanist, what the humanist organization will preach, which is the oneness. But then along the line, you'll find out that it's a little bit different, because they preach equality, but even within equality, there's no equality in the world, because we can't even do equality in a sense, because that's where equity will come. Because if you said, okay, we have one bag of sugar, we're going to share it among everybody. There are people who don't take sugar. There are people who need more. So it cannot be, equality cannot exist 100%. So yeah, I think that's my little understanding.
Yeah. Well, as per my little understanding, also, I think that is a good summary. That is a good summary. Thank you. Thank you.
Chair,
Lenny.
Chair, quickly, just so announcement. I mean, I have put the YouTube channel in our chat, but the Pigeon has put the Telegram link in our chat. You can become a member. The Pigeon has put that there. I've put in the YouTube channel. I'm waiting for your email so I can share the book directly with you. Thank you, Chair. Back to you.
Okay, I'll send that now.
Thank you very much, General.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, General Anunnaki. General Anunnaki. Is that General Anunnaki?
Hi.
Hi. Do you have any comments, questions, contributions?
Also, you want me to, yeah, what I'm going to say is that all these ideology and materialism, they come from African culture. So it was always a great debate amongst our great ancestors concerning idealism and materialism. But the reality of the fact was that materialism is more practical than idealism. I'll make just one example before I close. One can idealize the fact that Ra, we'll talk about Ra, which is part of the ancient Egyptian mythology stories. Some the idealists will say Ra. The idealists will say Ra did not exist. He was just a principle. he is the sun, which is the literal sun. But if you can look at on a materialist perspective, Ra was actually a black man who actually lived, and he was one of the sons of etc. etc. So there's always been that problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so there's always fresh insights coming. Thank you very much. Glenroy. Okay. Grace, Auntie Grace, Chisomo. Auntie Grace. I see a name here, PCA. Do we have PCA here?
That's Sister Portia. She has spoken.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we have Brother Benny. We have Brother Benny also. Then we
Yes.
have Sister Tapo is also here.
Okay, Sister Tapua. Sister Tapua. Okay, we have Setshaba. Is it Setshaba? Am I pronouncing it properly?
Sorry.
Setshaba.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to pass. I joined the meeting rather late, and I'm just benefiting from the contributions that people are making. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Setshaba, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Setshaba? Okay. Have I missed anyone else? I think I went through the list of those present. Have I missed anyone else? 18 participants.
Brother Ben is here.
Yes, I've been calling out him for some time, but I think he's shy. Brother Benny. Yeah. Okay. Any more? I think I've been through the.
Chair, will you allow me also to share for you to share your thinking yourself, Chair?
Okay, so my thinking is, I mean, subject to a lot of correction, but I have the feeling that what we're reading is a false dichotomy. I mean, and I suspect that Nkrumah was using their language to make a point to them as well as to us. Not that he personally believed in this sort of dichotomy of ideas and matter and so on. Because even if we bring it down into our normal experience in life, I mean, all our material or our realistic acts start off with ideas. And so this looks to me a little bit like a false dichotomy. And from the little I know about Nkrumah, he would be using their language to make a point. And that is what begins to strike me. But I read Consciencism a while back, and so I stand corrected. And if anyone wants to,
yes, you stand corrected.
yes.
So, Philip, I think you are looking at two different genres of the idea. So, there's a difference between where things originate and what people believe. So someone can come from the womb of another woman and deny her that she's her mother. It doesn't mean that she's not her mother. I'm just using that as an example. So
Right.
people can believe weird things. Sometimes
Right.
what they believe has no relation to reality. Yeah.
Right. Right.
See, but that is different from the factual origin of things. So
Right.
so what you have said is correct in the sense that
Ah,
there is a false dichotomy. Yeah.
right. Right.
But that being the case, it doesn't therefore mean that there aren't
Uh,
people on this planet who
uh-huh.
believe, and believe me, there are, that there's no
Uh-huh.
such thing as matter. For them, everything is spirit. Everything is the earth is a spirit. Even you are a
Mm,
spirit. Everything is a spirit. For them, what you are saying, matter is just spirit in a different form.
yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
hardcore. We call them hardcore idealists.
Uh-huh.
And then there are those who believe that hardcore idealists are just wrong. In fact, they are confused. They are mad. And they believe that everything is matter. Everything.
Uh-huh.
Even
Mm,
ideas are matter.
mm,
They
mhm.
argue. And those are hardcore materialists.
Right.
Ah.
Right.
So,
Right.
so these people exist. And they
Uh-huh.
exist just like people who believe in Allah and who
Uh,
believe in Jesus also exist. And sometimes
right.
the two of them fight because those who
Yeah.
believe in Allah Akbar believe that they are
Yeah.
the chosen one, the real one, and then those who believe that Jesus are lost, and vice versa. And then they start
Yeah.
fighting and killing each other. So these things are real. But being that as it may, those
Uh-huh.
questions of belief and
Yeah.
and belonging and
Mm,
subscription are different from where things actually come from.
right.
So that's between origin and belief. Now, finally, the
Mm,
position of Consciencism
mm.
is closer to what you said in a different way, and that is
Okay.
that as Africans, we do not
Mm,
believe
mm.
that everything is spirit, and we don't believe
Right.
everything is matter.
Uh-huh.
As
Yes.
Africans, we believe that everything we see is both
Mm,
matter and spirit.
okay. Okay.
So when there's an accident,
Mm.
the African would say, "Hmm. So what was behind it? Was it the? Are you sure that somebody didn't go and do some juju somewhere?"
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Basically, so that is where Africans take the position that
Yeah.
reality is a
Mm,
mixture. But you see, that in itself is a philosophical position, and
mm.
that is a position of philosophical conscientism. Thank you.
Yeah, but Professor Kwame, last week, Professor Kwame, just
Uh,
to push you,
uh,
you said on
uh,
record that
uh,
there could be more than two positions
yeah,
philosophically, and then you
yes,
added four. So
yes,
I think this is a wise
uh,
person who has now changed his
this,
argument.
yes, this is Mr. Fosha. In fact, I said that there are 2 to the power X philosophies. There are philosophies as many as human beings. If you start from 2 to the power 2 is 4, 2 to the power 3 is 8, 2 to the power 4 is 16.
Professor Kwame, you didn't say that last week. You said four. I have you on record, which
I
I
did.
really appreciate. I
No,
appreciate that you are
no,
admitting that no one
actually,
knows it all. No
no,
one
actually,
knows how
no,
everything works. This is
no,
humility.
no, Sister Portia. Actually, I did say that, but Pidgin can extract the video. We can watch it. But anyway, so yeah, so no, the fact is that when you look at human beings, they can be a mixture of materialist and idealist tendencies. To the extent that even two people from the same family will have different combinations of idealism and materialism. I mean, that is the reality. However, in terms of origin, things are either all spirit or all ideas, spirits and ideas, or matter. Those are the 2 philosophies that our ancestors have given us, and and Western philosophy hasn't improved on it. They have just confused it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we have 4 minutes, 5 minutes left. I don't know if...
So what you do is you hand over to Pigeon to make the announcements.
Okay.
And then you bring the meeting officially to a close.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Unless you have something else to say, and then you hand over to Pigeon.
Just briefly, can you share the original African philosophies and then how they're corrupted, if they can be shared on the platform in writing, and if there are some videos or books or anything like that, and how it's been corrupted?
I have a booklet that was written by one of the students of Benjo Kanan, which I think captures it very well. I think you are aware, but you may not know it is ours. It is the idea that there is water, air, fire, and those 4 things: water, air, fire, and earth. That actually it comes from Africa, and that is an encapsulation of the materialists and the idealist perspectives. That's why I said to Sister Portia last week that there could potentially be 4. Anyway, yes. So brother Chairman, yes, there is a booklet I can share with you later. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. So my next move is to hand over to Brother Pigeon, I suppose, for the announcements.
Yes, thank you, Brother Philip. It's been wonderful in this session, I must say so. And we look forward to you sharing more of such session. And thank you very much for at least volunteering at the last minute to do this. It was baptism by fire. It was not intentional, but we always request our members to be willing to chair these sessions for us. At least you learn a lot. You don't need to be an expert in philosophy. I might be the youngest in this group, but I have been chairing to an extent that maybe I appear old in my chairing. But I think it's a good thumbs up. So let's embrace this, and I really want to thank you for that, Brother Philip.
Okay.
Now, as we always do, I will always endeavor to ensure that our recordings are available on our YouTube channel. Yes, we are thinking of proper permanent alternatives on where we can take our recording, because these are serious, rich resources. You sharing your thinking is something that's an asset to us, and it can go out to help other people. So all our previous recordings, I think including the last week one, because I did upload it on Monday, are available on our YouTube channel. I know some people don't know about it. I'll request some of us to subscribe to that channel. I think Brother Kwame has shared the link to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe so that you can get a pop-up or an update like Sister Amina. You can always come back to this conversation. Rather than just reading the text, you'll get the benefit of the text and also this conversation we're having. So those conversations are available. Anybody else who would like to just go back and look at it, they're available on our YouTube channel. Like this week, I will be trying to ensure that all our week session that ends on Saturday will be available next week on our YouTube channel. So far, as I check my records, we are having around 330. So including where we started from introduction, or even the small letter by Hegel before introduction, all those are available on our YouTube channel. And we've been doing a paragraph or 2 every Thursday. So you imagine we've been here for 3 years to reach this. Yeah, and we have been that patient. So we are not in a hurry to finish them. We are very patient to ensure that we take time with people to grow. And we've grown a lot in the period. So we are still, maybe we might finish in the next 1 year or 1.5, but we are not in a hurry. We'll go as per the pace. We're almost getting to chapter 4, then chapter 5. So please go back to our YouTube channel. That's what I'm just trying to stress. And then on Saturday, Brother Kwame, I'll request Brother Kwame actually. I think Zai's was paid for by Grace, but we are going to
look at that. Our Saturdays are specifically for the unification of Africa. Of course, now we are bringing the element of liberation and development, whether it's economics and the rest. But we created a Saturday session for the last 2 years without a means to discuss the unification of Africa. So here is the philosophy on everything. There's a unification session every Saturday. Then we have a reading club where we review some of the books. That's now where it's open. The reading club is coming from the Pan-African Library, the CSG library. We actually have a Telegram library, as you've said, Chair, that is having over almost 8,000 soft copy books. And some of the active members who help us manage that is Sister Amma. And now we select some books from that library and decide to review. So Mondays is free for that. We equally have free space for members who have organizations within us or who have some meetings that they might want to have a platform to host it via our Zoom channel. Especially, I think Friday is free, and you are free to request for that if you might have anything, as long as you're part of our class, as long as it's in line with the objectives. And our classes are always funded by members. So we call for members, maybe some period of time, they donate to our Zoom channel account subscription over the years, and we appreciate that as well. We are doing our best to expand our resources and our services. So all this is what you're putting in place. And thank you very much for every member who has been with us every Thursday, Saturday, or any day throughout the entire 3 years, because you make the conversation going. And that's what I really wanted to share with us all. So I think I'll maybe ask Brother Kwame to share the Saturday topic, then back to you, Chair, to close it.
Yeah, the Saturday topic is Sister Chisomo, who is here. Sister Grace Chisomo, who is also Her Royal Highness Grace Manyika, who spoke at the African House of Monarchs event that I chaired last Sunday. And she'll be sharing I Show Speed. She's going to do the presentation on I Show Speed's history, etc., etc. We'll also have Raspala, and who is going to also present on the other dimension of I Show Speed, the possibility of CIA, the CIA dimension. And then Brother Windhoek may, I don't know if he has not confirmed, but he may present alongside Raspala. So it would be Sister Chisomo, who claims an authentic origin for I Show Speed, and Brother Raspala and Windhoek who argue that it could all be the work of the CIA. So that is on Saturday. I am in the middle because I want to argue that we could use those tools for African unification. So the quick announcements I want to make, Brother Ifo, I have put the document in the chat for you, the one I was referring to. That was specifically for your benefit. If others want to copy that, great. That is the William Amu Center for Philosophy. Yeah, Brother Ifo, that's in the chat for you. Sister Amina, I've emailed you the Consciencism book. Should be in your email, and then let's see, and then so brother Pigeon, Sister Portia has shared some links. Please copy them so that we can discuss them later. Those are the announcements from me. Brother Philip, back to you. Close the meeting so I can stop the recording. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. The time is 6 minutes past 8. I'm very, very happy and thankful to each and every one of you. And we will close the meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you.